Scrappy people, it's Tracy Reed here today, coming at you with the final layout in this Life Crafted album. I had one page to work with and 2 photos and 2 cards, and so I am going to go hog wild on the interactive part of this page. So what I decided to do was use this butterfly inked page that I made on my Instagram on a reel. You can check out my Instagram if you want to see this little page come together. And then I'm going to create an accordion fold out for these photos. The photos aren't the best quality. It was very dark in my living room. Obviously I look a mess because I was working out, but they captured a moment post inauguration where I was feeling a little bit of calm, but still some vague, unsettling feelings. So I wanted to just make them into a page about encouragement. And so I'm going to be using these 2 DIY Your Scraps journaling cards that I made on a previous video using the Cocoa Daisy Denim and Blush collection, and you can find that on my channel. It was just a few videos back. And then I'm going to layer them on some paper because the photos that I printed aren't 3x4, they're a little bit longer than that. So I'm just going to back them on some coordinating paper, make them a little bit larger. And I'm creating my accordion fold with cardstock, little cardstock strips that I have used my scoreboard to create a fold in. I prefer to do that over using washi tape because it's a little bit more secure, and in an album like this I want to make sure it's nice and secure. And full disclosure here, I struggled figuring out, okay, wait, what do I do next? How do I make this work? Why can't I figure this out? So I end up turning off the camera and thinking it through because it just wasn't quite coming to me in the moment. So I'm going to create another accordion fold with this side of the photo. And I thought about having that "You Are Enough Just As You Are" on the page as well. I didn't know if I would need it or not. So you can see me trying to figure this out. Like, how does this go together? How come I can't figure this out? Because I didn't want there to have the other side of the photos to have a whole nother like accordion fold out, if you understand. Like, I didn't want the accordion fold out to be 2-sided. I only wanted it to be single-sided, so you can't like unfold it both ways, because I didn't have that much content for this page. I didn't have that much to say about it. So I'm struggling a little bit to make sure that I don't have that problem. So I'm going to trim this down to fit the correct size. And at this point, I still don't know what I'm doing, right? I'm just kind of struggling here. So I have it down to the size of the photos, and I'm going to glue it directly to the paper. And now I'm like, okay, oh wait. So I need to back this one on a patterned paper regardless of what I end up doing with it. So I go with this beautiful floral because it matches so well. I think that was the point where I turned off the camera and was like, okay, let's figure this out. There we go. I don't need this other accordion fold or this other hinge that I created. So I'm going to pull this apart. Wait, I'm like, wait, how do I do this? See, the way that I put it together this way, there's definitely a backside, right? And I don't want the backside. So I thought about taking it back apart, but I just end up gluing the backside together, and I'm like, okay, that's perfect, good enough. But now it's like weirdly, like it comes apart weird, so I need a binding to make sure that it stays folded up when I don't want it to be unfolded. So I'm just going to add in some old bigger swine from an old Cocoa Daisy collection I had in my drawer. This navy blue matches perfectly. And then I decide to washi tape the edges of the accordion folds anyway, because the cardstock that I used was not tearing, but it was like shredding a little bit and it was ugly. So I'm just going to wrap this tape around the edges of the photos and cards. And of course I struggle with this one. The struggle is real. Okay, now turned off the camera, fixed it. They're both taped, and now I'm going to tie this down so that I can work with it closed to decorate the front. So I'm just going to trim down this string. Perfect. Okay, that's cute. I like it. So I'm going to add in some stamping to the bottom of the page because Lord knows that this page needs more mixed media. I'm going to add black stamping to the bottom. There's a phrase in the stamp set that I thought was appropriate. I wanted it up here underneath the photo, but it was too late to stamp it up there because of the bulk of the photo collage and the size of the stamp, because I had to put it diagonally on that stamping block. So I'm going to end up putting it down at the bottom. Then I feel like it's just kind of weirdly hanging out there. And so I'm going to add some more stamps around it. The stamp talks about the rarest flower, so I'm going to add in some leaves around the outside edges, and I'm also going to add in some of the little heart stamps too. So I'm just kind of trying to figure out where I want to put this. I'm going to end up making it so that this phrase sort of looks like it has angel wings. So I put one there, and then I kind of think about putting one there, but there's like no flower to put in between them, so I'm going to put this little heart in between the two leaf sprays instead. Thought about adding them at the same time, but I couldn't quite get confident enough to add them all at the same time. So I'm going to add the leaves first, and then I'm going to go in and add the heart. And then I'm going to go back and do it on the other side as well. Just something to sort of anchor the bottom of the page. I'm going to have journaling in the accordion fold, so I don't need to add journaling to the mixed media portion of the page. If I had thought ahead, I would have just left it like that, but I didn't do that side first, and so the other one didn't match, and it was kind of bothering me that one side had the two branches together and one side had them separated. So I added one to that side as well, and it kind of throws off the balance a little bit, but I felt like it was still more balanced than having a sort of corner of leaves on one side and a branch of leaves on the other side. So I need to cover up some of this space in between the photo collage and the stamp at the bottom, because I feel like they're just two separate pieces right now that don't really make sense together. So I use my circle punch, which my 1.5 inch punch died, and so I used a 2-inch punch, and you can see it's just way too large. So I'm actually going to create another circle punch in 1 inch, which is the same size. Boo, hiss. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to use my tape and a different chipboard piece, but I'm going to use my tape to make this smaller. And I decided to go around the outside edge. I probably should have done the inside edge to make it that much smaller, but I went around the outside edge and it's small enough. It works. But I need to go buy myself a 1.5 inch hole punch or circle punch again. I thought about putting it underneath the photo collage, but it was hard to pull up, for one thing. I didn't want to ruin it, and two, it didn't need to go under there. Okay, so the last thing that I need to do is decorate the actual accordion fold itself. I thought about adding this up underneath the photos and creating like another little circle motif, but in the end, like, I glue it down, but in the end I pull it back up because I feel like it was distracting from the diagonal butterflies a little bit and it wasn't making me really happy. Okay, so I pulled out some die cuts to decorate the photos with. So I need to figure out what I want to put on the top of the first photo. And I thought about adding these tabs to like turn the page, but I thought it was unnecessary. I do end up adding it for a second and then pulling it back off again. But I really love this blue and pink striped like banner. So I'm going to put that right here and then put something over the top of it. And then I realized that I have to be able to tie that string, so I have to make sure that there's enough room, that it doesn't cover up the embellishment. And of course this tape is just not sticking right. It's making me crazy. Struggle is real. So I glue it down with some tape runner. Hopefully that'll make it stick better. Okay, this photo, you see I put that tab down, but it doesn't really make sense on a page where you can't turn it. So I'm going to pull it back up here in a second because that's bugging me. But this photo needs something on it. So I'm going to put this never forget with a pretty little flower. There's lots and lots of flowers in the denim and blush collection, which makes me super happy. But these need to collage a little bit better. So I need to move it over a little. I kind of like the idea of it right there at my knees. Probably should have used a smaller flower and that would have made it a little easier. I'm going to do something up here in this top corner as well. Cover up some of that blank space. Take off this tab. Goodness gracious. I'm going to add this circle to the actual photo. There we go. Need to add something up there with it. So I'm going to add a little heart, but then I decided that the heart is not, like, first of all, it's on my head. Second of all, I need words. So currently loving me is what I'm going to put on here. And then I'm going to move the heart underneath the me. Then a couple little more embellishments, and this page is all done. So if you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you. If you don't already, you can follow me over on Instagram. I'm at Traci M. Reed. I would love to see you over there as well. And I will see you next time. All right, thank you.